I had about 4 hours because I finished 3 hours earlier than intended. I had about 4 hours before I could actually check into my hotel room, but I was fucking tired. So I got to my hotel, I asked them, hey, is the room ready? Can I check in? And they were like, sorry, it's not ready yet. So what I did is I went and sat in my car because I was gonna go drive somewhere, gonna go do something. And then I proceeded to just close my eyes for a second. Then about an hour later, I'm covered in sweat. I open my eyes and I look to the left and there's just a girl standing outside my car. Actually, she just hopped out of her car and they just parked right next to me. She wasn't standing there looking at me, but she hops out of her car and she looks at me and I look up at her and then she looks over at the guy she's with. And they just both start laughing. And I'm like, bro, you can't do this to me. I'm sleeping in my car outside of my hotel because I'm fucking tired, okay? I'm tired and I can't check in yet. So please don't look at me. But yeah, no. So I literally went up to the hotel. I sat on a fucking bench. I called my brother. And I was like, hey, you have to keep me entertained for the next 2 hours because I'm waiting for my hotel and I cannot get in yet. And he was like, I got you, homie. And then we just talked and it was great. I order my Uber and this airport has 2 floors. So I can be either on the top floor or the bottom floor. And I click on the top floor that I'm sitting on the top floor in the Uber app when I'm on the bottom floor without knowing. Without thinking about it. And then I'm just waiting for the Uber. I'm sitting there and he pulls up. It shows on the app that he's right on top of me. And I'm like, oh, whoops, my bad. Let's just walk upstairs. I make him wait for a minute or two. I walk upstairs and I try to open the door. It's locked. He unlocks it. I open the door and I'm like, hey man, sorry about that. I realized I tapped the upstairs one when I was downstairs. And he was like, it's all good. And so then I climb into the Uber and I'm sitting there. And before he starts driving, okay, I like talking to people. I'm gonna be honest. I like it because it helps me get better at my communication skills. And I just like hearing about how people are. But I'm not good at it. So what I typically do when I hop in an Uber, I'll ask them something simple like, hey man, how do you like driving for Uber? And then I will segue into what is your most crazy story about driving for Uber? And so this is my game plan. I ask questions, see if they want to respond, see if they want to talk, and then go to next question. Follow up with another question. So then I climb into the car and I sit he's in the driver's seat and I'm not right behind him, but I'm in the back seat, just on the other side of the car. So I can talk to him and he could look at me. I ask him, how do you like driving for Uber, man? And he turns around, looks at me, and blinks twice. And then without saying another word, he turns back to the road and starts driving. And I'm like, oh no, what the fuck? Doesn't say a fucking word. So I'm sitting here dying, dude. I'm so embarrassed. I'm like, I just asked this guy a question and he just Donowalled me IRL. Literally just didn't respond. And I'm like, oh my God, this is so embarrassing. I'm dying of embarrassment, okay? Sitting in the back of his car, sweating my fucking... I'm so stressed sitting in the back of his fucking car. He just starts driving and I'm like, oh my God. And so I'm doing this thing where I'm grabbing my phone, opening it up, and I'm just like swiping across the homepage looking for something to occupy my attention. And I can't find anything. I'm like, oh my God, why did I uninstall all my apps? Oh my fucking God. And then I put my phone down, go back to the fucking awkward situation, and then I pull up my phone again and I start swiping across the homepage looking for something to do. And I see this app that I haven't opened in fucking forever, Instagram. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm so glad I have something. Yes. So for the first time in literally like 8 years almost, I open Instagram and I just start scrolling. I have not done this in forever. It's such a bad app, I'm gonna be honest. But like, I'm just scrolling Instagram. I'm like, oh dude, I want to be out of this car so bad. Not only that, it's rush hour. So it's the longest Uber ride I've ever had in my life, dude. It was so awkward. I'm just scrolling Instagram, right? I hear his phone start ringing and I'm like, oh my God, is he gonna answer this phone? I watch as he clicks the green button to answer the call and then he clicks the speakerphone button. So he answers the call and then he puts it on speakerphone while I'm sitting in the back of the car and he just didn't talk to me. And I'm like, oh my God, this is gonna be so awkward. And next thing I know, he's like, hola, ¿cómo estás? And he just starts talking in Spanish. And I was like, oh, wait a minute. And he just has like a 5-minute conversation in Spanish. And then like he pulls up to my house and he drops me off. I'm like climbing out and I'm like, I think this guy doesn't know any English. So I like probe him one more time. I'm like, hey man, thanks for the ride. Have a good day. And he's like, yes, good day. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm so fucking stupid. And he's like, yes, good day. And I'm like, yeah, you too. And he's like, yes. And I'm like, oh, I'm so fucking dumb, dude. I got so embarrassed for no reason. It was so dumb of me. I can't even express, I cannot put it into words just how stupid I felt in that moment.